Welcome to the Art of Listening to Your Body podcast. My name is Jin Ong and I'm your host. I practice as an osteopath and psychosomatic therapist and am fascinated by the mind-body connection and how your physical body is a manifestation of your emotional state. I help people get unstuck from their chronic pain and live the life they want, grounded in values and driven by purpose. My aim is to create awareness to the underlying emotions behind pain, injury, and disease in the body. Join me to learn more about the story of your body, what different issues may indicate, how to release emotions so that you can prevent problems, as well as inspiring pain story interviews. Christmas is just around the corner, 4 weeks away, or 5 weeks until the end of the year, as someone kindly reminded me. And I wanted to drop in with a little message and reminder to you, because this lead up to Christmas, November and December, I notice gets pretty hectic and stressful for a lot of people, even if you're not into celebrating Christmas. There's this imaginary deadline that the end of the year is coming, and you realize that those goals that you might have set for yourself in January just haven't happened. First of all, be easy on yourself, because 2020 has been an interesting year. There's been this thing called COVID that's come into everyone's life, maybe disrupted it, maybe helped you grow, but you might still be adapting to it, or you might still be working your way around COVID, depending on where you are in the world. So give yourself a pat on the back for the things that you have been able to achieve, and then take note that there's only 4 or 5 weeks left. So those goals, with all these life changes that have happened this year, are they still ones that you need to achieve? Are they actually still important to you? Or can you just scratch them off the list? Can you postpone them to next year? And in the next 4 to 5 weeks, what's really important to you to get done? It's also a time when people's social calendar can get pretty full. There's a lot of work Christmas parties, social Christmas parties, and maybe you or your friend have realized that you haven't caught up with one another for the whole year, and all of a sudden there's 4 weeks left to do this. So those meetings get squished in amongst everything else. Now, I talked a little while ago about values. Values are how you live your life, what you surround yourself with, what you say yes to, but most importantly, what you say no to. And this might be the people in your life. Now, some people have friends that they don't talk to for a few years, and then they just pick up the phone, there's no guilt, and they just hit it off again. And that's absolutely fine. But I want you to question if these friends of yours, or maybe the ones that you feel like you want to reach out to, are they actually aligned with your values? Is there a reason that you haven't caught up with one another for the whole year? Don't do it out of obligation. See people, spend time with them because you want to. I think most of you would have experienced hanging out with someone that you just don't like, or they're not aligned with your values, but you go along anyway and you just leave drained. And there's no one else to blame except for yourself for either offering to meet up with that person when you didn't really want to, you just felt obligated, or saying yes to the invitation when your body was saying no. Saying yes to things is far easier. It's very people-pleasing. It's much easier than saying no. And a lot of people need to bring no into their daily vocabulary a little bit more. So in regards to your social calendar, work out who it is you really want to catch up with, what you have time and space for, and don't sacrifice your own priorities for other people. It's also a time when there's a lot of different food around, and you may be someone who's discovered that certain foods don't actually sit that well with your body, or it has a negative impact. You might have an intolerance. A big one is gluten, dairy, and sugar. And I know there's a lot of people who try and avoid these foods, but they come up around celebration time, Christmas time. Maybe you have family members that they kind of poo-poo the fact that you don't want to eat those foods and that they make you feel really sick. Or even if you're a celiac and you can't actually eat gluten, they still think that you're just being one of those silly gluten-free people, and they don't actually cater for you. So one, it can be really hard to go to those celebrations, especially those family obligations that you might have, when they don't respect that there's a particular way that you want to eat. Now, again, reflect back and work out, have you actually communicated this with this person? Or did you think that maybe asking them to cater for gluten-free and dairy-free is too hard? Have you actually educated them about your reasons for making those food choices? So don't necessarily put the blame on other people for making your life hard because of your dietary preferences. Maybe you haven't communicated it with them clearly enough. And then, again, it's up to you to say no to the food. I know that some people, particularly older generations, they love to people please with their food. It's a way of them gaining affirmations, confirmation, and almost like receiving love when someone accepts and eats their food and praises them for it. Again, this is a boundary that you need to exercise, and just politely decline the food if it doesn't sit well with you. Now, alcohol is another thing that comes up. Maybe you've been trying to drink less, or you know that it doesn't react very well to your body. A lot of people use alcohol to loosen up and be more of themselves. My ideal is that you are yourself without drugs and alcohol influencing you. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with catching up with a friend, catching up with a group of people, or going to a Christmas party and not drinking. So whether it be the food, the social event, or the drink, is just stand up for what feels right for you. Make sure you speak up. Don't expect other people to know what your needs and wants are. Be okay saying no. Set your boundaries around Christmas time. Prioritize yourself and don't stress yourself out. Thanks for learning with me on the Art of Listening to Your Body podcast. If you like what you've heard, I would love if you could rate, review, and share with your friends. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. My handle is The Art of Listening to Your Body. You can join my free Facebook group where I go live regularly to teach you about different conditions and the deeper underlying emotions at play.